Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David, and only in Florida. Man, I posted this up on my community page. A viewer had it up in the comments like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. This isn't real. It's real. Florida Republicans are offering to set aside millions in taxpayer money to help pay for former Donald Trump's multiple legal battles. A woman by the name of State Senator Ileana Garcia is trying to get legislation forward that would hand out up to $5 million to President Trump, ex-President Trump, to fight his legal battles. This legislation already has the endorsement of Jimmy Patronis, Expecto Patrona, the state's Republican chief financial officer. I wonder what his Patronus animal is. Michelle was guessing a cockroach. I love my wife. Okay, it's not an animal, it's an insect, but you get the idea. Okay, so quoting Ileana Garcia, we're in the midst of a historic moment where we're watching an election that's trying to be stolen by left-wing prosecutors, the Biden administration, and even blue states. They're not trying to win at the ballot box. They're trying to keep President Trump off the ballot by weaponizing the courts. Having a Floridian in the White House is good for our state, and anything we can do to support Florida presidential candidates like President Trump will not only benefit our state, but our nation. Really? There's no House companion bill that goes with it. The Republican legislative leaders have not been talking about this. And it's not clear if it's legal either, because Florida has procedural rules regarding legislation that is tailored to an individual or single business. Patronis, who's the CFO, basically said, if we can help and support a Florida candidate for the White House, that's good from a dollar and cents perspective. From all the decisions the federal government makes with regards to military installations, to roads and disaster aid, it's in Florida's best interest to make sure their champion for the president is allowed a fair shot at the White House without being taken down by some fake witch hunt. I messaged my brother, as some of you know, my identical twin brother, who is still a member of the GOP, and said, dude, what the hell is wrong with your party? He claimed it was grandstanding, and then we devolved into insults at that point. Oh, it's fun to poke him, though. Your party, bunch of dumbasses. Come on down. What's the energy around Miss Ileana Garcia's very powerful legislation? Entertainment purposes only. Let's be entertained. Page of Wands. Gary's right. It's grandstanding. It's grandstanding on the most rookie of levels. This is some MAGA Republican state senator trying to reach out to the MAGA base and score some MAGA points with this legislation that can't go anywhere. It just can't. There's no path forward with this. Yeah, but crossed with the Seven of Wands. Yeah, okay, so this is Donald Trump trying to fight off all the legal challenges coming his way. And again, for the MAGA folks, having Trump in charge helps them out. It helps them with their political power. So there's no downside to this. And probably the state senator I believe state senators run in a district. So she's probably from either a very conservative district. I don't think it's going to be gerrymandered. It's just conservative. So being an extremist is actually a good thing. But underneath it all is the Queen of Swords. This is one of those things that it's kind of a harsh reality. Like, yeah, this is kind of idealism right here. I've got this great idea. I'm going to go on this great journey. It's going to help things out. Look, the practical matter is this thing's not going anywhere. My brother's right. This is just pure grandstanding to get MAGA cred on this one. In the past, you got the Four of Cups. It's kind of like there was another another woman that was interviewed saying she can't really comment on what Ms. Garcia's bill's all about. You need to talk to her. But I suspect Ms. Garcia she's not getting anything done legislatively, and she doesn't like all the bad news that's going on about Trump. So this is her way to try and empower herself and kind of force her political views onto the taxpayers of Florida. Now, mind you, they voted her in, so she has the ability and the right to do that, representative government and all that. But you have to think about that when it comes re-election time. Current situation is the Nine of Wands. Again, I think the MAGA movement, they're not seeing a lot of good things in the future coming up for them, and more stuff is coming out. Folks that ran on the MAGA ticket, the bus is coming for them. And I don't mean the bus that's going to pick them up to the promised land. I mean the bus that Donald Trump is going to throw you underneath. Look at all these wands we've got going on so far here. So it's like, my political career, if Donald Trump is not the president, my political career may be over. So I need to do something about this. There's your fundraising. The overarching energy is the Queen of Pentacles. This is purely about it's self-interest. Queen of Pentacles is normally a card of practicality. This is not a practical piece of legislation. This is like a very selfish piece of legislation. It's excessive. It's a pure luxury item that has, it's tchotchke, I believe is the word. This is political tchotchke is what this is right here. It serves nothing other than it's expensive, collects dust, and it looks nice, and if you dust it every once in a while. Basically, it's a way to raise money. It's a way to reach out to the MAGA base and say, I'm doing something valuable, but you're not. The overarching energy is the Three of Cups. I'm laughing because it's like there's a celebration. Can you imagine if this passed and you're going to stiff the Florida taxpayers with a $5 million bill to pay Trump's legal fees? Can you imagine what that's going to do to the taxpayers in Florida? I don't think they're going to be celebrating Miss Garcia's wonderful idea. There's a lot of Democrats that would not be happy. And given all the Republican hand-wringing over the Democrats being somehow fiscally irresponsible, yet they're going to do this. Basically, what this is doing, this is giving Democrats fodder for the 2024 elections coming up. It'll be interesting to see who in the Republican Party signs up for this little political tchotchke. Because the Democrats are just going to call them out and take them to task. And probably will take them to task anyways. It's like, we've got this person here, this state senator, saying she wants to take $5 million of your taxpayer money to pay for the ex-president's legal fees. How about we keep that money in Florida to help, Floridians with a better life? Why are we wasting money on this? Why would you vote for a Republican who would support something like this? The outcome is the Empress. It's that entitlement. Like, where is this going? There's a sense of entitlement, like this disconnect with the state politicians. Like, we're sitting here in the lap of luxury asking for your money to do what we want. It's not helping Floridians. They're trying to sell it as helping Floridians. Like, if Donald Trump's the president, he's going to help Floridians. Let's talk about the quid pro quo out loud, shall we? Because that's exactly what they're saying. It's like, we scratch his back, he'll scratch our back. And the CFO said it too. Now I have to... That's the energy around it. Now I'm gonna do readings on Ms. Garcia and Mr. CFO. Again, these guys, when they're talking about, the Democrats are in blue states are trying to steal the election, and it's all a witch hunt. Yeah, you know which faction of the Republican Party these guys represent. All right, Ileana Garcia. What's your jam? What's your deal? Why are you doing this? Maybe she gets the full treatment. Backroom money. It's a backroom deal. This is just a power thing. I'm not even going to give her 6 cards. She doesn't deserve 6 cards. She gets 4 cards. That's all you get. This is all about... It's all about fundraising. This is about backroom deals and a little power play here. She knows there's no chance that this is going to get through. It's an impossible burden to get through. So why is she doing it? God, look at that pair of 10s there. Way to go, honey. Did you get 2 pair? Let's see. There's that Page of Wands again. Okay, she hit on a big idea. That she needs more money, more support, and more power in there. So she's going to go with this idea. She knows it's dead on arrival. It's not going anywhere. It's an impossible thing to get done, but it's about the appearance of doing something. Now, mind you, if she could get it through, she absolutely would want that. But she has no expectation whatsoever that this thing is ever going to get through. Now, what's cool, what's interesting, and I'll throw on that one, is what are the consequences to her? But before I get to that, let's get to the CFO. Mr. Patronis. Expecto Patronum. Imagine the look on his face when he does his Expecto Patronum and a cockroach appears. A shivery cockroach. For those who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, Harry Potter. It's from the Harry Potter series. The wizards, using their wands, can conjure up like an animal familiar. An animal that would represent them and can act as a protecting spirit, as it were. Harry's happened to be a stag. Hermione's was an otter. Ron's, I think it was a bowl of pasta. I don't know. I can forget what Ron's was. It'll be in the comments. But obviously, Mr. Patronis is going to be a cockroach. Oh, God. This is the CFO. That's why I missed my brother. My brother's in does finance and such. And that was the other reason. What the heck, man? Your people. This is your people. Florida. Okay, Mr. Patronis. Why are you backing this? You're the money guy. You're the one who's supposed to be fiscally responsible. Why in God's name are you backing this? Money. What about money? Okay, yeah, this is my election interference grifting card. I do ask here, it's like, what the hell is it's like, how corrupt is the Republican Party that these morons are doing this? Okay, it's fealty. Fealty to Donald Trump. Hey, he actually does think that if they can get this through, that Trump's going to pay him back. He honestly believes that. And he might be right. Just like the other one, he thinks this thing's going to be dead. Oh, okay. Here's what he's thinking. We offer up a little bit of money now. We're going to get a lot of money later. And by a lot of money, Florida and those who can skim a little bit off the top are going to get a lot of money. The Ten of Swords. He could honestly feel like Donald Trump's getting a raw deal. I can't picture a scenario where people believe this, but then I watch those Jordan Klepper videos, and these people do believe this. Maybe he doesn't think it really has a chance of going through, but if he can convince it to go through, there's going to be a big payoff for it. This is absolutely in fealty to Trump and MAGA, and maybe if he throws his weight around it, Trump has a fighting chance. And it'll help Trump with his court cases. But, I mean, underneath it, I would say that he understands the probability of this thing going through is low. But who knows? It might catch fire and get through there. But he doesn't see the consequences or the downside of it, right? And that's what I want to throw in next. What are the consequences and downsides of this? Because as I mentioned, if I were the Democrats, I would be highlighting this. This is the legislation they wanted to pass. They thought this was the good idea. You're devastating the economy by chasing away all of the inexpensive labor, and now you want to take more money from the economy and throw it at a failed former president who needs to defend himself for legal cases that he brought on himself. Okay. So Spirit, what are going to be the consequences for the Garcias and the Patronises in Florida for pulling this maneuver? Will there be any consequences? Page of Wands. Okay, so here we go again. Them just going off on this is the third time this one's come up. Going off on their little expedition, and that's the second time this card's come up. Looking for money and influence underneath there from the king, should the king get put into power. What are the political consequences? It could be that because of this, their money dries up. Their funding dries up because of their support for an autocrat. I'd have to look to see when both of these folks are running for re-election again. Maybe by the time that they're running for re-election, Trump's been found guilty and now they look foolish. Let me check real quick. And we're back. 2026 for both of them. And this guy, Jimmy Patronis, won the CFO basically 60-40 over the Democrat. I'm sure because he was fiscally responsible. So, yeah, they've got time. I think they're being foolish here because time's going to tell what was going on. And if Trump's shown to be as corrupt as we think he is, I think funding for them is going to dry up. Yeah, okay. We're looking, what's the consequence? This is Trump Tower coming down. This is everything going down with Trump and the MAGA party basically starting to fall out of favor because of the corruption that's been found with the man who would be king. There's your Queen of Swords. Now the payback comes. People are going to look. It's almost like if you were part of MAGA, you were a MAGA politician, your days are numbered. And numbered like you're not getting reelected because there's going to be this recoiling of the MAGA faction by politicians. The Republicans are going to just turn their back on them because it's political poison pill. And the MAGA ones are going to get voted out. They're in for some explaining to do. The truth on them is revealed. Hey, remember when this person wanted to support Donald Trump? It would be like somebody wanting to have a bake sale for Richard Nixon in 1973. Or, when Watergate investigations are starting. And then, they're up for re-election in 76 and they were a big Richard Nixon supporter. And it's like, yeah, remember, you liked Nixon, right? Yeah, we're not voting for you. Get out of here. You suck. Kind of like what happened to Gerald Ford. That's the truth is out on these people. The lesson to be learned is you thought you were getting a king. You were just making a deal with the devil. And you did this to yourself. Outcome is you're not being reelected for another 4 years. You're going bye-bye. So they and basically underneath all this is the harsh judgment. I was saying this is kind of like the man who would be king. This is the American people looking back at actions like this and saying, you know what, we're going to be the Queen of Swords. We're going to make the harsh judgments now. It's time for us to take the people that we elect to government offices way more seriously, even on the state level. That again, I believe that there will be a massive recoiling of people away from MAGA and things along those lines, which will then, here's my laptop, which will then lead to the decimation of the Freedom Caucus in the Republican Party. And maybe the Republican Party has to reinvent himself because now the name is toxic and associated with insurrectionists and traitors and seditionists and things along those lines. We'll see what happens. Anyways, we're done. Thank you for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you for all your kind words, your comments, and your shares, and everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithms. My videos make it out to a wider audience, to folks just discovering this channel for the first time or recently. Welcome to it. Glad you found us. Hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.